Section 9. Did you know you could do that in Swift? In this section, which is also the final section of our course, we're going to learn the great hidden features of strings in Swift, escaping closures in Swift and what they actually mean, how to avoid common memory leaks, and how to add functionality to existing classes with extensions. What you did not know about string. Strings in Swift are very, very powerful, and we will look at some handy features that are yet hidden gems in a way, meaning when working with strings in Swift, you probably did not know you can use multilines, raw strings, character arrays, and more. Let's get started. Throughout this section, we will always start in a new playground. So first of all, I want to show you a great way when you have to import a huge string that's also stretching over multiple lines. We're going to call that multi-line string. And it's annotated by 3 quotation marks at the beginning and by 3 quotation marks at the end. Now in between those quotation marks, you can simply copy a long text like this one, and let's print the whole string at the end to see how the output looks. You can see this was a very handy and easy way to import this long text that stretched over multiple lines. Next, I wanted to show you raw strings. A raw string allows you to enter a string that's interpreted just as a string, even if you're using symbols that usually have a different meaning. Now let's give you an example. Let raw string equals, and then it starts with the hashtag at the beginning and the hashtag at the end, and in between you need 2 quotation marks, but now everything that you write will be interpreted as a string. Now we've entered a raw string that contains symbols like quotation marks and other critical characters, and we're going to print that string. So you can see the power of raw strings down here. Everything is just interpreted as a string. Quotation mark, it doesn't matter, but let's fix that misspelling. Now next, did you know that a string in Swift is just an array of characters in a way? Let's create a string char list. You can, for example, iterate over it or print the count. Charlist.count is the number of characters, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. The empty space counts as well, and you can always iterate over it as well. Now in the for loop, you get each character individually, and you can, for example, print the character as well. See here 9 characters, and here they are printed. Now another handy tip is you can use Unicode characters in Swift just by using their Unicode number. And the way you do that is you open up a string, you write \u for Unicode, and then inside those curly brackets you put in the symbol name. I'm going for 20BF. If you don't know what the symbol is, you'll know in a second. It's the Bitcoin symbol. And last but not least, you can also access ranges in strings. Let's define a string of all the numbers. And let's define the range from 5 to the end. To get a range somewhere in the middle, let's call it start index, we have to get the index first. Now that's possible by calling first index onto the string. In our case, the first index of the first appearance of the number 5. Going to force unwrap here because we know that the 5 is present. And then you can get a substring from the range at start index until range.endIndex, meaning until the last character. Now from 5 is a substring, so most of the time you will not see a difference between strings and substrings, but a substring is actually referencing the same space in memory, the same characters in memory as the original string. So if you plan to work with that string for a longer time, you should definitely convert it into a string by just using the string constructor or initializer. Now if we're going to print from 5, as we would expect, down here we get the string from 5 to 9. That was strings in Swift and what you did not know about them.